welcome back. It's Module 3 in Entrepreneurship 241, and I hope your semester is in full swing and you're in the groove of the semester now. And so Module 3, in Born to Build, we'll be looking at the second key, which is recognizing opportunities, and then we'll also be looking at confidence and disruptor talents. But before I get to that, the other two things we'll do in this module, there's some family business videos that I've put together, and it's a topic that I'm really passionate about and I've experienced, and I've had a lot of friends who have experienced, so good information. And if you're in a family business, I think these are just good things to be thinking about and thinking ahead and kind of looking at some of the strengths of a family business and then some of the pitfalls and where things can go wrong. So hopefully you enjoy those. We will also, you'll be taking the Ambassador Innovation Profile, which measures your innovation style, your creative style, your problem solving style, and what it really gets at, and there will be another video on this that you will watch that goes into more detail, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but it really gets at what is your preferred function, like job function, and it's all about style, so not so much about personality or anything like that. But really good, a very unique assessment, because there's not really assessments out there that measure functional preferences in work, so and in life in general. So I think you'll find that one really interesting. It doesn't take very long to take. We have a site license here at our institute at Ball State, so it's free for you to take, which is a nice deal for you. I think it's like a $35 value normally. So, and then you'll write some discussion board posts on that. So hopefully you find that insightful. And then as we put all of these assessments together throughout the semester, I think you'll find you can kind of get a whole picture of yourself and others, and it's can be really helpful. So Module 3, looking at Born to Build specifically, I hope you're really enjoying that book. A lot of great insights in there and great information and tools and processes that you can use now and then throughout your life. One thing I don't know if I mentioned about this class is that we've had a lot of students over the years start businesses out of this class. And some really cool businesses like Transcend Food Delivery was started out of this class. Also a drone business, and then later a drone camp business by Matt King was started out of this class. I still talk to Matt regularly. He's doing great things all across the country, so growing that business dramatically. So that's pretty neat. So I think the things that you come up with and the way you learn to think about new ventures in this class can really be a jump start for you. Recognizing opportunity. From my perspective, I really feel like recognizing opportunity, and the book talks about this, is really all about what you bring to a potential business opportunity or new venture opportunity. It's about your perspective, it's about your motivations, what drives you, what do you see around you, but it's also about your talent. And remember, when we talk about talent, we're talking about in the vein of psychological perspective. And what the research has found is that when you use your talent to start a business, your odds of success go way up. And the reason for that is because you're more passionate about what you're doing, you're more engaged in it, you have the ability to learn very rapidly, and you're going to see peak performance. And so some examples that I might give is, like, think of someone who has delegator talent, and specifically we're talking about Builder Profile 10 right now. Delegator talent, they're going to see talents in others, and they're going to be able to very quickly kind of put the pieces together for a team, and when to kind of give other people certain opportunities or work or tasks or relationships, whatever it may be. Delegators are going to see that. They're going to see it very quickly. They're going to get better at doing that very quickly because they already have it in them. And they're just going to be more passionate about doing that and feel good about it. So kind of a way to think about it. We're going to talk about disruptor in a minute, talent, but disruptor, they would be really passionate about coming up with new ideas and kind of bucking the status quo and those kinds of things, as opposed to where someone who doesn't naturally have that talent, they might be able to kind of muddle their way through it, especially if their company needed it, but it's not going to be their go-to instinct. One thing that really successful entrepreneurs do is they're able to make connections to things that may not seem related. So they kind of take everything they know, their surroundings, everyone around them, and they're able to kind of put that together and make a really nice omelet out of it, basically. So I think that's an important piece, is be aware of what's around you and the people that you know, and start to think of kind of unlikely connections and how you could build a business model off of that. I mean, that's what all the great ones have done. If you think about Steve Jobs and people like that, they have taken things that didn't seem like they fit together, like, believe it or not, and I can remember this ages me a little bit, but email and phone, those didn't go together, and Steve Jobs said, why not? BlackBerry had started that path, so I don't want to take credit away from them, but and people laughed at that, believe it or not. So, but look at us now. It's like we don't even look at email hardly unless it's on our phone. And maybe most of you your age, you don't even look at email at all anyway, which I would urge you to keep looking at email. It's still relevant. There's a couple of stories in the book that I just want to draw your attention to because I think they're great examples of this. And I would urge you, the ongoing story you'll see in the book is about Stephanie Breedlove and the business she started that originally revolved around kind of the uncertainty of hiring home healthcare professionals or child care professionals to come into your home. And there's really no background checks. There was no formal process to that for people. And she came in and said, there's a problem in the marketplace here. How can we address that? And so her story is great. She has her own book that I would urge you to get. It's just a fascinating story, and this business just grew like wildfire because there was a need in the marketplace. And then the other story is Charles Schwab, and I know Schwab is a big customer or a big client of Gallup's, but just his story of combining kind of unlikely things is mentioned, and so you can read about those in the book. All right, the last thing I wanted to mention in Born to Build, kind of where we're at in the book right now, is I want to talk a little about a purpose, and I want to kind of expand on the book's discussion of purpose a little bit. They talk about it in terms of the business's purpose, like what's your reason for existence, and I want to expand a little bit on that. I also think it's important, the first step is really for you to kind of figure out what drives you. What is your personal purpose or mission? Like, what do you want to accomplish in life? Because I think the key is that you look at your personal mission or purpose. Like, what do you want to accomplish in life? What do you want to do with your life that benefits other people? And then what is the business's purpose? But then I think the real key here is, how do your personal purpose and your mission come together, the business's purpose come together? So personal, business purpose, how do those come together and overlap? Because if you have a mismatch there, whatever it is, in any job or business you start, you'll never be happy. So you really need to think about that as you kind of move through your career. And then the last two things with this module and Born to Build is, we'll talk about briefly here, confidence and disruptor talents. So confidence, people who have confidence, people who are high in confidence talent, or it's a dominant talent for them. They really recognize opportunities. They're able to very quickly initiate action, so they're very much an activator. They start things. They can convince others that, hey, I'm the right person for this. I'm confident in myself. I can do it. So they kind of pass on their confidence to other people. They have this resilient self-belief. They tend to be very focused on the future. And when I say future, I mean kind of the long run. So they're confident that maybe even though things don't look great today, that they're going to get to where they are, the vision they have. They're going to get there like in 5 years or whatever. Now, the downside could be overconfidence, obviously. People high in confidence talent tend to underestimate the time or resources that's needed to attain a certain amount of success. They also tend to overestimate the success level that they'll have. So those are some things some pitfalls and some things to kind of keep in mind. If you have confidence talent, is you do need someone to help check and balance you, or multiple people and systems and processes that can say, okay, am I taking too much of a Pollyannic view of this? Disruptor is a really interesting talent, because I think this is maybe what you typically think of when you think of entrepreneurship. But I think the point of this whole book and this BP10 assessment is there's more than one way to go about entrepreneurship and building a venture. So disruptor is a big part of it, but it's not the only thing. So, but when we think of, it's just stereotypical, right? When you think of entrepreneurs, you think of disruptive people. You think of people who go against the norms. They go against status quo. They want to think and move outside of the ordinary. So we think of inventors. If we think of people who are curious, they have no interest in rules and boundaries. They're rule breakers, problem solvers, always dreaming. We think of people like Edison and Ford and Elon Musk. Although I have opinions about Elon Musk, his companies haven't turned a profit yet. So, he takes a lot of government money. So, he's kind of innovating on our dime. So he's done some great things, but I don't think to this point we haven't really seen a lot of fruit out of it. Steve Jobs. Sheryl Sandberg, this current CEO of Facebook, very much an innovator. Mother Teresa would be an innovator. I mean, she really bucked the status quo to serve people. So I think that's kind of a neat one. A good local example would be Madam C.J. Walker out of Indianapolis, who started her own business, and I think now her granddaughter has kind of started her own businesses and done pretty amazing things. So you could look that story up. I may have that off on her granddaughter, but there's a lot of disruptors out there that we can look to as examples. If you have disruptor talent, you're getting this. If you don't, you're saying, oh, that scares me off, and you need some disruptors. You may have some ideas. Get a disruptor to really shake things up. The downside of disruptors a little bit, sometimes disruptors can be secluded. They may not communicate as well. They may be so focused on always reinventing things that they're never kind of satisfied or able to celebrate what they do have that's working well. So that's a great trait on one hand, right? Let's constant improvement. It's what innovation is, right? On the other hand, it can wear people down, it can frustrate people, and you can frustrate yourself, and you can spend so much time trying to reinvent something that maybe doesn't need to be reinvented, that it's not productive. So those are just some traps you don't want to fall into if you have disruptor talent. It's all about self-awareness. All these talents are, and I call it taking it to kind of the 90%. But if you kind of take it over that threshold and you push too hard, then you can hurt yourself and others around you. So overall, these talents are great talents that we have in us. Self-awareness goes a long way. So that's Module 3, and hope you're enjoying the material in the class, and see you next time.